welcome Sagittarius. Do also check out Pisces energy because it might resonate with that as well. So this is a collective and general message. So receive what aligns, release what doesn't. Ever give your power away to a reading or outcome. Remember, you're a conscious creator and you shift and change your timeline with your free will choice. So for the series or the topic, I would say for the zodiacs that I'm tapping into for the end of February, beginning of March, but this could be timeless, is are you mad enough? And what are you doing with that anger that is constructive, that can be of a benefit? Because anger is a messenger that lets us know that a boundary has been crossed. And what we do with that matters, right? We can't let it sit in ourselves, and we also can't allow it to control us. But how can we channel in a way that can be really productive and helpful, right? So many ways we can do that, right? But I'm going to tap into this here for us. So what's really interesting is like Sagittarius, I feel like you and Pisces have like flip-flopped, or you have both really strongly in your chart, because we start out with the High Priestess, decisive intuition. So when you get angry about something, you're going within to understand it, to find the deeper messages within it. You're sitting with it. And what it's doing is leading you to new beginnings and higher perspectives, fresh perspectives, seeing things clearly. Obviously, with the High Priestess, you have access to higher knowledge, higher wisdom that's coming through. You might be receiving downloads, you might be receiving certain visions, but you are almost like receiving and focusing on what's ahead of the curve, right? That's your focus. And then you have the Nine of Cups and the Temperance, patience, and balance. So Pisces, you're choosing to find the deeper meaning within the anger that is coming up within you. And then you're choosing to create and focus your energy on what you want to see in the world, or what you want to see in your timeline, what you want to create. With the Nine of Cups, wishes granted. So you're really taking that energy and you're channeling it in a really powerful way. And a theme that is coming up right now, very much so, is about distraction and addictions and things that create energy leaks around us, and pretty much ways in which we'll just say negative forces, or negative, I don't want to say that, but like negative agendas in this world pretty much want us to be distracted, want us to feel like we're hopeless or helpless, want us to give away our energy and our time to all these different avenues and drain us of our energy, right? But the big theme that is coming through so far in the zodiacs is not being distracted, by being very focused in and choosing healthy habits and routines, and where we're focusing like a very healthy mental diet for ourselves. Not to necessarily not be aware, but not to give our power away to these things that are coping mechanisms that are unhealthy for us, right? So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Sagittarius is the same sort of energy with temperance, patience, and balance and healing. You're navigating in a very balanced way. You're slowing down. You're taking the time to think about things step by step. Again, you're looking ahead with a High Priestess energy. You're focusing on what you want to create. And then there's the Hierophant energy and the Queen of Cups, intuitive compassion as well. You're staying very balanced in your energy. You are maybe approaching the energy of anger in more of like a traditional sense. Maybe you're researching it, or you are focusing on spiritual practices. I'm seeing actually for many of you, is you're giving yourself a lot of compassion for what you're feeling. You're sitting with it. You're listening to your shadow. You're listening to your anger, and you're giving yourself a lot of compassion with the Queen of Cups, intuitive compassion coming through. And you're doing these compassion practices for yourself, or maybe for the world or for others. And that is helping you to stay in your power at this time, and maybe to make moves that are like the healthiest and best for you, rather than coming from a place of deep imbalance. You are creating that inner balance and moving forward and having a lot of compassion. And then you have the Justice energy coming through, fair judgment. Doesn't mean you're not discerning, right? It doesn't mean you don't see things very clearly. Some of you are also focusing your energies towards justice, right? Towards the balancing of karma, the balancing of the karmic scales. But your third eye is shining very bright, right? With that High Priestess energy, your clair abilities. Many of you are like, when you get angry or you want answers, you turn to your intuition. You go within. You turn to your intuitive, skills, gifts, abilities, magic. That's what's strongly coming through here. And then you're going to be seeing that balance coming through as well with the justice energy. You have at least 2 cards of balance. I would even say the Queen of Cups can also be a very balanced card too. But you are also utilizing spiritual practices or certain foundations, maybe even traditional foundations, for strength and for inspiration, and also to keep you balanced and to keep you in your power and to keep your frequency in an authentic place for you. But you are also taking that space and time to feel what's important for you to feel. It's kind of like you're doing it all in a way, right? Because like you are moving through what you're feeling, you're addressing your anger, you're listening to it, you're being motivated and inspired, you're thinking about what you want to create in the world, and then you are utilizing those practices that will help you strengthen your presence and your energy in order for there to be justice, right? In order for there to be compassion, and you're pretty much focusing your energy on who and what you want to support, the changes that you want to see in the world. Some of you might work in the legal field, right? And that's something where you're like, okay, this is my strength and this is how I can contribute. Some of you, it's your intuitive and spiritual discernment in the way that you're navigating. There's a lot that's coming through here. I want to pull one more card here for you, Sagittarius. But yeah, it almost feels like judgment, earned reward. The balance of the light and shadow really gives you this sense of wholeness, this sense of integrated wisdom, strength, unconditional love, a person, an energy, a presence that can't be messed with, basically, right? Because you've integrated that shadow. People can't manipulate you like they can somebody who's not integrated their shadow. Your shadow is also where a lot of strength comes from. It's not a negative thing. It's something that helps you hold boundaries. It's something that speaks up for you. It's something that does listen and to that anger that is coming forward. It's something that's part of our whole being, right? If more people did shadow work, we'd have a more balanced and healthy, definitely a more balanced and healthy world, consciousness. So you are coming from a very strong and balanced place, and you've done the work, Sagittarius, right? And there's going to be some sort of reward here for you, something that, the scales of karma and justice are balancing in your favor. All right. And that could just be energetically. That could be, your discernment and you seeing things very clearly, like your visions coming to fruition, your you being able to trust in your intuition and your discernment. Sometimes people don't like when you discern because they think that you're being judgmental, right? But that's not the case here. Like there's a sense of like, those of you that have come to this, like you are someone who is recovering from being a people pleaser or fawning, right? You're very strong in who you are. And, it's almost like it's not that you don't care, but it's like you don't put much emphasis on how people see you, right? It's more about how you see yourself and you being aligned and in your integrity and your authenticity, right? So we have 2 strong cards of karma coming through. And that's what you're focused on, is the balance of that. You're focused on balance in general, I would say, and creating a world and a timeline and manifesting wishes and intentions that, are very just, are very balanced, are grounded. You're very grounded here in your spirituality, in your presence, in your power. So well done. Thank you so much for joining me, Sagittarius. Receive what aligns, release what doesn't. Take the best care of yourself, and I will see you soon.